This female archetype is every man's weakness, and that's the siren. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how you look, every guy falls for this woman. And the reason why is because this type of woman plays the game right. She understands the game of the visual. She understands the game of contrast. And these types of women are the types of women that wreck homes, the types of women that guys would cheat on their wives with, the type of women that girlfriends hate. I'll be honest with you. For the simple fact that most men don't have a psychological defense against her. The only psychological defense against her is gayness because they play on every man's weakness, and that's what the visual. So we're going to be breaking down the origins of this attachment of this archetype, examples of this archetype, the strategies they use, and the cons of being this archetype. Because at the end of the day, for example, Marilyn Monroe was kind of depressed, right? And there's a reason why. But where every power comes a weakness. Okay, so let's begin. Now, look, the origins of her are the origins of the siren are very simple. Life of isolation. A lot of times, these girls possibly got bullied a lot. A lot of times they didn't have father figures. You know, sirens develop quicker. Like a lot of times, these women got attention from boys a little bit earlier than they should. So because of that, they developed a hunger for validation at an earlier age, right? And a lot of the times they didn't have fathers. Well, because for the simple reason that when you don't have a father in the household, your body literally develops quicker, right? It could be maybe the stress, but the point is that a girl without a father will develop at a much faster rate. So these girls will get attention from men quicker. And the problem with that is that then this girl, she'll be the one that develops quicker, but now she's going to get bullied by other girls. She's going to get bullied because other girls are jealous of the attention she gets. So as a result, because of the isolation, it creates physical and emotional distance, which gives her the distance to create a fantasy in a man's mind, right? The lack of intimacy actually causes guys to project even harder, especially if she has a certain look. So they have, and another thing is that, like I said, early recognition of her power. Early on in life, she saw how much power she had over men. Examples of this are one, Marilyn Monroe, and it was clear that she was actually a very depressed woman, unfortunately. Cleopatra, because for the simple fact that she played on the image. Like remember, like she was into the theatricals. So the first time Mark Antony knew her, the first time that Mark Antony met her, she got rolled down in a carpet. And then she rolled down in the carpet and came up and like fucking blossomed like the Statue of Liberty naked. So what made her a siren was the fact that she was into the theatricals. She dressed in a way that created a fantasy in a man's mind. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that as we continue with the video. Another example is Jessica Rabbit. Just it's her innocence, it's also her body and her looks, but also the fact that she accentuates her body. She is literally everywhere she goes, she gets looked. And like I said, this is a purely visual thing with some fantasy, but 90% of the shit she does is all visual, right? But she actually does something that actually is strategical. She plays on fantasy, right? So what are the traits of her? Well, for one, the eyes, okay? She has a childlike look, like an innocence, and so she has big, bubbly eyes. Her voice is sensual, soft, almost as though she woke up and is barely awake. Her movement is like a cat, so she's slow, never fully rushed. And above all, the way she dresses, it reminds people of someone in the past. And is that honestly, this is why guys love cosplay so much. This is why guys love women who have a certain look, like the goth girl look, the professional girl look. Guys like costumes, and from all the women that I've seen, the sirens are the ones that play up costumes a little bit more than the other ones. Now, who's vulnerable? Every guy. Every guy's vulnerable. There's no type for this woman. Everyone is their woman. For example, femme fatale, rational guys don't like that type of woman. Older guys don't like that type of woman because you kind of know how people are. This type of woman is purely visual. It cuts through your rationality and it causes you to make mistakes, you know? Now, the strategies she employs are kind of interesting, right? One, she mixes the innocent and the sexual. like I said, where she has the body of a woman, super sexy, but something in her looks innocent. So it could be the way that she talks is innocent, the way that she looks at you is innocent, or even just a helplessness on her part, where it's she exaggerates how much help she really needs, where she validates a man's masculinity through her helplessness, when in reality it's just a strategy. She gives the men the illusion of control. She makes the guy feel like he's the only guy, when in reality he's one of many. Right. And remember, the reason why she does that is because she lacks the ability to create emotional connections. Um, she exaggerates her weaknesses. She uses physical lures, which is her body. Her soft voice is very alluring. She doesn't talk like this, like a fucking Terminator, and she has a slow movement. If you look at Jessica Rabbit move in her movies, she walks like a fucking cat, and that is a very sensual thing. Like, guys love the slow movement. Now, to me, the most underrated part, like I said, is that they dress like they're larger than life. Like Cleopatra could have dressed normally, but Cleopatra knew that she had to dress like a mythical figure. Like, for example, if the guy likes anime, dressing like an anime character is gonna create more fantasy than dressing like an Egyptian character. But if the guy likes Egyptian hoes, right? Like, see, if he likes ancient Egypt, dressing like an Egyptian queen will elicit a guy's fantasy with more intensity than dressing like an anime character. So what these women do really well is that they know what the guys want. They know the type of fantasies that stimulate them, and they actually give them that fantasy. If the guy's into Sailor Moon, dressing like this, Jesus Christ, he's gonna. A girl did that once. Because Sailor Moon was my favorite character when I was a kid. And my favorite female character. And that shit worked, man. Sailor Moon was a bad girl. Now, the cons of this is that one, women will hate you. Women will hate you. Women will spread rumors about you because they want to put you down. Remember, women's main form of bullying is destroying your reputation. You could be possibly depressed because most likely you lack love from your father. When you need the validation of men so much that you cater your whole look to attract men, yeah, you definitely have an insane need for validation. So because of that, you could be very depressed, very lonely, no emotional intimacy. A lot of times, these types of women also have mental health issues. I'm not saying this to I'm too judgmental, but generally, yes, like it's the opposite with guys. Like, honestly, like guys that have a lot of power. A lot of times, a lot of these guys have. So there's something going on in their heads that makes them desire that much power, right? And generally, if you're the type of woman, I would tell you to reconnect with yourself. Be the father you never had before. Give yourself the discipline. Give yourself the admiration you seek from other people. Because a lot of the times when you're this beautiful, you get admiration for nothing. And because of that, you lack the self-esteem that comes from accomplishments. So if you want to fix that, you got to stop going for the easy validation and actually work your butt off and to seek validation from your own self. Like, because you see a lot of women, like, if when they're this beautiful, they don't need any type of success to feel good. What happens is that now you don't have the ability to feel good without your looks. You need your looks to get validation from it, you know? And so you got to give yourself your own validation. And the way you do that is to develop a meditation practice. Meditate. Learn to find happiness from just being in your body. We uploaded a meditation on Patreon. It's called the Love and Kindness Meditation. And that will definitely give you the self-love that you need so that you don't need a guy's validation as much as a siren does. But remember, man, like, just because she's hotter don't mean she's happier. That's a real thing. Like, a lot of hot women get bullied, man. That's why a lot of hot girls can be bullies because they actually got victimized. They get, so they develop this attitude as a defense mechanism. What can you do, man? Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this video and take care.